Greetings, you displaced dinosaurs. I hope you're doing well. My name is Graham, and this is the Crack-A-Pack on LRRMTG, where today I'm opening this collector booster of Doctor Who. This was given to us by Justin, or the Angry Red Bird, in chat at MagicCon Chicago 2024, who says, enjoy the Whoster. The collector Whoster. If you've noticed that the last several episodes have all been packs we were given at MagicCon Chicago, you're correct, well observed. And that's because we were given a lot of packs at MagicCon Chicago, and I thought it'd be fun to, go through a handful of them before I get elbow deep in the rest of the drawer and see what we can rustle up. Unless otherwise noted, the card is foil, because these cards are all foil. Generally. I'll tell you when they're not. I'll start with the token, which is a mutant on one side and an alien rhino on the other side, which I guess is what a Jadoon is. An alien rhino. Well, first up, forest. Yeah, it's a forest. I don't remember, every basic land is from a specific episode reference from the series, and I don't know them all by heart, but it looks fun. Giant flowers. Neat. Next, the 12th Doctor. Starting off strong, we're right in with the Time Lords. Forest, out of the way. Time Lord. 3 blue-red for a 4/4 Time Lord Doctor. The first spell you cast from anywhere other than your hand this turn has Demonstrate, which means when you cast that spell, you may copy it. If you do, choose an opponent to also copy it. A copy of a permanent spell becomes a token. So you can just cast the spell. But if you want, you can go, also, let me show you how to do it and demonstrate it, and then you get a second one, but then someone else has to also get one. So you get 2 of them, but someone else gets one too. Also, whenever you copy a spell, put a +1/+1 counter on the 12th Doctor. Look, I love Doctor Who and I love Magic, and these decks are great. I have my own copies at home. Big fan. Love all the Doctor Who stuff. We recorded an episode of our show, Elder Dragon Social Club, with these that you should check out if you haven't. And these are, without question, the most complicated precons we've ever played. And it's because of stuff like this. It's the first spell that you cast from not your hand each turn. It's just little things like that where it felt like every single card had all of its dials set slightly differently so that nothing agreed. That said, Peter Capaldi's Doctor rocking out with a guitar, very cool card. The Great Intelligence's Plan. 4 blue, black for a sorcery. Draw 3 cards. Then, target opponent faces a villainous choice. Some of my all-time favorite rules text. They discard 3 cards, or you may cast a spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. Ooh! So 6 mana, you draw 3, and then either someone has to discard 3, or you get to cast a spell for free. Boy, I think whoever casts this is getting to cast free spells a lot, because discarding 3 is pretty brutal. Next up, it's Ace. Yeah, Ace, Fearless Rebel. 3 and a green for a 2/2 human rebel with the ability Nitro 9. Whenever Ace attacks, you may sacrifice an artifact. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Ace, and then it fights up to 1 target creature defending player controls. And Ace has Doctor's Companion, meaning you may have 2 commanders if the other is the Doctor.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are these surge foils?
Nope, these are all just foils. Just regular foils. If I peek ahead, I think I can see the indication that there might be a surge foil coming up. But these are just normal.
So like that Ace Fearless Rebel is number 98?
Yeah.
Alright.
Collector boosters are so much work on whoever's keeping track of the cards, which in this case is Paul. Next up, Port Town, which I guess is Venice? Ah, yes. Venezia. Impossible city. Preposterous city, says the 11th Doctor. As Port Town enters the battlefield, you may reveal a plains or island from your hand. If you don't, it enters tapped, and it taps for white or blue. I don't remember when Port Town was originally printed. Pretty recently in the grand scheme, but I gotta say, they went pretty hard with the land reprints in these decks, which is good because they're very color intensive, such as moving right into Dreamroot Cascade. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands, and it taps for green or blue. The Medusa Cascade. I came here when I was just a kid, 90 years old, says the 10th Doctor. I admire the job that the Universes Beyond team did picking out the reprints and meshing them with moments from Doctor Who. Our next card is a non-foil but extended width art version of Lunar Hatchling. 4 green blue for a 6/6 alien beast. It's got flying and trample, the complete flample. Basic land cycling for 2, and escape. 4 green, blue, and exile a land you control, and exile 5 other cards from your graveyard. Wow. So you can escape it from the graveyard, but one of the costs is it's not just mana and exiling cards from your graveyard. You also have to exile a land that's in play. But then you get your 6/6 flample back. That's pretty cool. Also, did you know that was in the moon? Fun fact. Our next card is another non-foil but extended art Time Wipe. Time Wipe is already a card name that just slots in very cleanly to the Doctor Who oeuvre. 2 white, blue for a sorcery. Return a creature you control to its owner's hand, then destroy all creatures. Goodbye, Davros. It hasn't been pleasant. Next is a foil and extended art 500-Year Diary, this is a really messed up card. It's 3 and a blue for a legendary artifact clue. It enters tapped, which is like the single way in which it might be considered possibly fair. You tap to add blue for each clue you control. So at minimum, it's a very expensive mana rock because it taps for 1 mana for itself. But generally, you're going to have other clues. And because it's a clue, you can pay 2 and sacrifice it to draw a card. But ideally, you're tapping it to cast huge spells. Another extended art foil and another example of a great land reprint. It's Drowned Catacomb. Enters the battlefield tapped unless you control an island or a swamp. Taps for blue or black. The living goddess Amdo sees all and hears all. Well, I'll try to keep it down then. Next, we do have a Surge foil. In fact, it's the Foretold Soldier. This is a extended art Surge foil, 2 green for a 6/6 alien zombie soldier. It must be blocked if able. It cannot be blocked by more than 1 creature. When it deals damage, exile it face down, and it becomes Foretold. And it has Foretell, which of course is the mechanic from Kaldheim, where you can pay 2 and do it face down, and then you pay its Foretell cost. And its Foretell cost is 1 and a green. So it still costs 4 mana if you do that straight up, but you can get around. It's not double green to do that, I guess. You can get it out on turn 3, but yeah, whenever it deals damage, you put it back in the Foretell zone and keep casting it from Foretell. Another borderless Surge foil and another land. It's Fury Calm Snarl. When it enters the battlefield, you may reveal a mountain or plains, and if you don't, it enters tapped, and it taps for red or white. Too long have I stayed my hand. No more, says the War Doctor, and it's his little shack, his mind shack. All right, now we have a different category again. This is a normal border Surge foil. I really hope that no one out there is trying to get like all the different variations of stuff, or if you did, you stopped a couple years ago when it became obvious that that was never going to be possible. Anyway, it's Foreboding Ruin. Enters the battlefield and you may reveal a swamp or a mountain. If you don't, it enters taps for black or red. I love old things. They make me feel sad, says Sally Sparrow. The Foreboding Ruin is, what's it called? Western Drumlins? Is that the name of the house from Blink? Anyway, that's what this is. And then finally, because I believe it's this case in every one of the Doctor Who collector boosters, the last 2 cards are the TARDIS showcase frame. First up is a non-foil Yasmin Khan, 3 in a red for a 3/3 legendary human detective. Tap to exile the top card of your library, and until your next end step, you may play it. And she has Doctor's Companion. And I think these were previewed before we knew that Murders in Karlov Manor was going to introduce detectives as like a thing. I think that whoever was putting these together, I guess Gavin, I suppose, and the team were able to sort of be like, oh, you're doing detectives. Does that mean detective is a subtype now? Because we have a couple people that really should use that. So that's very cool. And then our last card is a regular foil TARDIS frame of River Song. 1 blue-red for a 2/2 human Time Lord rogue with meet in reverse. You draw cards from the bottom of your library rather than the top. And spoilers. Whenever an opponent scries, surveils, or searches their library, put a +1/+1 counter on River Song. Then River Song deals damage to that player equal to its power. Ooh-wee. Good heavens.
Everything's foil except Yasmin Khan except for Yasmin Khan and the Lunar Hatchling and the Time Wipe.
Yeah, and Lunar Hatchling and Time Wipe are extended art, and Yasmin Khan is TARDIS frame. River is regular foil TARDIS frame. There's 3 Surge foils, 2 of which are extended. And the rest are all regular foil, 2 of which are extended.
Stupid.
If you're just opening these packs, this is fine. This is gravy. It's just like, oh, look at all this cool stuff. If you're like trying to annotate everything in a pack like Paul's doing right now, this is madness. We've attempted to make sure that we're as correct as possible on the price lists, but again, some of these things are foil, some of them are extended art. We believe this all to be correct, which is to say, over $19 this pack. The 500-Year Diary card I mentioned was messed up. That's over $5, and a couple of the lands, Dreamer Cascade and Drowned Catacomb, those are each over 4. There's 4 lands here. No, there is 5 lands. I was going to say there's 6 if you count the basic forest, but I wasn't counting the basic forest. But, you know, if you're putting together a mana sort of board for building commander decks out of, I mean, the Doctor Who ones seem to have a lot of good land in them, so that's nice. In the universe, and I love to live in this universe where I'm drafting collector boosters, I'm going to first pick River Song and just do silly nonsense with it. But otherwise, I mean, 500-Year Diary is also just a very good card, and Lunar Hatchling, they're all powerful. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Is this like Cube where you're supposed to first pick a land and then just like pick up your bombs later based on what you can cast? I don't know. I'll take River Song. Hey, thank you so much, the Angry Red Bird, aka Justin, for giving us this pack at MagicCon Chicago. Very much appreciate it. You know how much I like Doctor Who, so thank you. I, for my part, have been Graham, joined by Paul on tech. Matt edits these with Jordan. Heather gets them online, and you have been watching, which is real key to this whole operation. So thank you. And thanks also to those of you who support us directly, not just this show, but everything we do at Loading Ready Run across all of our channels at patreon.com/ don't type it in how I'm saying it out loud. The URL is patreon.com/ Loading Ready Run. Ignore all the other dots and slashes I said. Okay. Everybody cool? Great. All right. Goodbye.